CFB Nation, what is going on? We're going to leave it at that. I am SC Romero, CFB Nation. Welcome to the O.
All right, everybody got goals and aspirations. You know how you get those? You be the best where you're at.
What does Evan Stewart bring to the table here? In short, you get a baller.
The grass is not always green. In fact, the grass is damn green in Eugene.
What does Evan Stewart bring to the table? In short, you get a baller. Correct. Let's not talk about the baller, though. Let's talk about let's back it up. I know it's football season, man. I know, anxiety is gonna run high. We're gonna be in close matchups. Your stress levels are gonna get up, right? I play fantasy football. I'm a fan of teams. I'm a fan of Oregon. That's just part of the game. But man, it shouldn't be happening this early. A few weeks ago, I talked about the first 3 weeks matter when we're playing Idaho, Boise State, and Oregon State. It's really gonna kind of set the tempo of where we're at because when we go into the Big Ten, the defenses get a lot more physical. It's not like the Pac-12 where you're just seeing aired out type of offenses and just higher scoring games. It's a little bit more close-knitted, right? The defense gets tough. They add pressure. They have big guys on the front seven. They have secondaries that can make big hits or just make some big plays, man. And this offensive line right now, man, it is causing so much anxiety. Like I'm over here eating so many honey nut Cheerios just to lower my blood pressure right now. It's freaking ridiculous, man. I just don't. How do you go from 2 seasons, back-to-back seasons with Bo Nix, only allowing 10 sacks in total in 2 seasons, to in 2 games allowing 7 sacks, man? I just don't get it. What's more frustrating is, Dan Lannon has a job. I get that. You're the coach, man. I love your motivational speeches. I love what you're saying. But when people are asking you about the offensive line in the post press conference, and you're saying, "Well, we're going to keep rolling with what we believe will give us winning football," and it's hard to argue that because they're winning, right? We're 2-0. We're winning. But is this winning football? Is this what winning football is to you? Because what are you doing? Like the best isn't working. It's still adding up sacks. It's still getting these sacks to Dylan Gabriel. What is happening right now in the offensive line? Maybe it's finding out or addressing someone saying, "Hey, Cornelius, you're gonna be the leader. I need you to go out and lead this team." Actually telling them like, "Lo, you are the leader of the offensive line." Maybe it's giving these guys like 2 days of just saying, "Hey, bro, you gotta wake up. You gotta put in this work every single day because right now it's not working, and the pressure is getting to our quarterback. And above all else, in every single team, the main goal in the offensive unit, right, is protect your quarterback, right? In a lot of teams, your quarterback is your most prized possession, right? Your franchise guy. And I know Gabriel has 1 season with us, but right now he's the franchise. He's our guy, right? So you have to go out there and protect him. And right now we are failing to do that. You're seeing some penalties. That don't get me started on the penalties. Where's the explosiveness? Thank you. And to Debbie Domination, I appreciate you asking that because in reality, we saw it. We did see it. Big play to Trayshawn Holden. Big play to Evan Stewart. And then they kept running the ball. Like, what? Like, in the second half, it was like Evan Stewart wasn't even there against Boise State. Like, what? Like, the plays were working. You were getting there. Passing priority. That's our next subject. So I appreciate you, Debbie Domination, with that question because the next subject is going into that. The explosive plays, we saw more than against Idaho. I will say that. So there's some lighting to the cake or whatever, the bright side of the cave where you see the light at the end. That's great. We saw some of the explosive, but it also seemed like we were trying to make the running game our priority, and the running game wasn't working. Like I don't know if y'all notice it, but Bucky Irvin is missed. I do like Jordan James. Don't get me wrong. Noah Whittington, when he's on the field, I'd love to see it, but it also still looks like he's still going through the mental states. Like he doesn't want to get hurt, and I get that, bro. I've been through the injuries. It sucks, the adversity, going through it, right? I understand that, but you got to go out there and perform, bro. And it's like if that's what it is, that's what it is. Bring Jay Harris in, because I know Jay Harris wants to play. Jordan James, you look good, but you don't look great. Be real. I'll just try to be real with you. Like you look good, but you don't look great. The offensive game, the passing game, it looked great at times. It looked like we were taking more shots And maybe, shout out my guy at IDP Plus, Billy Manziel, because when I brought up Oregon, talking about Dylan Gabriel, like, oh, we're excited. He kind of giggled a little bit. It's like, I've been through the Dylan Gabriel experience. And I laughed. I was like, man, Dan A's gonna fix all this, right? It's gonna be Gabriel doing some things. And now, like I don't want to message him and be like, bro, like I'm going through this experience with you. But reality is, like, I am. Like, I see the frustration now because the quick dump offs, he can get them. Don't get me wrong. But it seems like the Oregon wide receivers aren't as fluid as it was last year. We aren't gaining as many yards after the catch. Where was Ches Johnson this game? Shout out special teams because they made a big play, right? He made a big play on special teams, and that's the reason why they won. Two returns for Oregon gave them the lead and gave them the winning victory because we had two returns because the offense wasn't doing a damn thing. Like we have these wide receivers. Why are we not drawing up plays for? I'm not talking about screen passes, all that cute little dumb screen pass, all that stuff, bro. You're going against Ohio State when they have Caleb Downs, when they have Burks. They're gonna shut that down. You might as well just get negative 20 yards and just punt it because they're gonna shut that down right away. You can't be running these cute little plays. I'm talking about just some quick slants, maybe, or just take a shot down the field in a fade route or a post out, whatever it may be, to let your playmakers become it because you need to have that separation. Evan Stewart can get it. He's quick, right? And we know Trey Sean's a big guy. He can do it. Ches Johnson has the agility to do it. They can gain the separation. So why are we avoiding it? Why are we not drawing up these plays? Why are we trying to be cute with something different and try to add new flavor? Don't fix what isn't broken. The system wasn't broken last year. And it seems like, yeah, we got a new quarterback. Guess what? We'll play to your strengths, but you got to play our game. And right now, it looks like we're playing mostly of Gabriel's game and not Oregon's game. And it's really frustrating to watch an offense that you see as so explosive not be as explosive. Right? Like we just don't we have it's like little breadcrumbs. Like we're seeing pieces of it and it's leading us to it, and then it's leading us to nothing. Where was Ferguson and Sadiq? Another great one. We were doing good with it. Ferguson and Sadiq were involved, but then they just let them go, right? Like these are two tight ends that we hyped up during camp. We talked about them. T. Ferg's about to have the season of his life. Kenyon Sadiq's about to be the next guy up. And guess what? We get them involved, and then we just leave it be, and we go back to the running game. It was like a 3rd and 10 or something, if I'm not mistaken, and they ran the ball. Like what system, what play are we in where it's 3rd and 10 and you're running the ball? I don't care where you're at on the field, and you're like, let's just get it, bro. To play winning football does not mean play not to lose. That's what I feel like Oregon is playing right now. It's like we just need to play not to lose, and guess what? The New England Patriots, or who was it, against the Atlanta Falcons, when they were down 28-3, the Falcons were playing not to lose at the second half, and guess what? They lost because you can't play not to lose. You play conservative. You play with the target on your chest, and you're like, I can't. I don't want to make this mistake. Mistakes happen, but if you're taking shots down the field, you're gonna hit. Take those shots. Trust in your defense. Leading up to defensive line pressures, man. Shout out our guys, Jordan Burch, Mateo Ugalele, and Derek Harmon. Only guys with sacks right now. So the Oregon team as a whole has 42 total pressures. So they're getting after the quarterback, which I like. In this game, we really saw the defensive backs come out because, shout out the secondary locked in. They wore because they had 12 pass deflections, bro. Shout out Brandon Johnson. Phenomenal. Had a great game. He was all over. Shout out Jabbar Muhammad. I'm glad we got him from Washington because we saw what he did in Washington, and now he's here to be our lockdown, man. The Oregon secondary was lights out. The defense was lights out this game. Granted, it doesn't look like that because of scores, but when you're watching it, when it mattered all game, but in situations where it's like third and 1 or 4th and 1, whatever it may be, the defense showed up. The defense made the stops they needed to do that. Only one solo. I agree with that as well. 8 tackles, only one solo. But again, with that, it's nice to see him all around. He does need a step up there. I'm not saying he doesn't. He does need a step up there. But it's nice to see him that he was all around, making those plays. Heading back to the offense. On 3rd down, the conversion, the efficiency in converting on 3rd downs for Oregon is horrible. Less than 40% on the season. It is just really blasphemy. Like what? Like, why are we not doing these big plays anymore? Defense, Basa, you need to be a leader. You were expected to be the leader. Having one solo tackle, like, come on, bro. But the fact that you have 8 shows you're getting to the ball at least, so you're closing in, but you're not just doing it by yourself too, which we do want to see more of that. But as a whole, I was really impressed with this defense. Again, the scoring, not so much, but some of that was bad play calling on the offense that had the defense get back on the field right away. You know what I mean? And they got tired. You're playing Austin Gentry, right? And shout out Achilles Smith Jr., his dad. He actually tweeted out, like, what are keys to victories? One of mine was contain Austin Gentry. Did they do that? No, they didn't, but they did contain him in the sense that they minimized the big plays. Like, we've seen him go wild. He just went for 267, so they minimized some of those big plays. They were in the backfield a lot. There was a lot of run stops where they got him right at the line, and you love to see that there. That's amazing. Losing turnover ratio and time of possession to Boise is rough too. Yeah, that's a big one, and that's huge because you would think if they're losing it, if they're losing time of possession in any game, at least formerly, for what we knew as formerly Oregon, it's because they're scoring on 2 to 3 plays. So they're not out there. No, this isn't it. We're having like long drives here, like something like we're not even used to. We're seeing like 7, 9, 10 play drives here, something we're not used to. And then they're not even scoring. Like, I just don't understand what is going on here. Shout out Atticus Sappington. He missed a field goal early. That could have, been a whole different reason. He came back in, made it, got the game winner. Awesome. Love to see that. But a few weeks ago, I talked about on the how we play in these first 3 games matters. It was rough against Idaho. Idaho came to play. They, not to discredit them, they came to play. Oregon did not. They won, but Oregon didn't come to play. We're not going for it, so they didn't come to play. This past game, Ashton Gentry's a great running back. And I believe it was like Boise State's 3-0 against Oregon in however long, and like we beat that, right? That's great. But man, that was tough, right? And Maddox Madsen out there, like we again, the secondary did well, but they also let some plays go too, right? Let's not fool ourselves. They let that go. Next week we get Oregon State, the in-state battle, the preview, the I-5 battle. If y'all know, Interstate 5 drives from South Oregon all the way up to North Oregon, gets you to Washington. You go through Portland. If you're starting in California to drive past Oregon, you go up I-5. Guess what? There's Oregon and Eugene. About 30 minutes north is Corvallis, whereas Oregon State. So it's at Oregon State. Is it really an away game? Nah, maybe not. But I will say this: Oregon State is 2-0. If this were the last game of the season and Oregon State has not won any single game, they are going to come to play against Oregon. I guarantee you. It doesn't matter how many wins they have. They are going to come to play and give Oregon a tough matchup. Will Oregon come out successful like the Ducks? Yeah, probably. But it's going to be a battle, a heavy-hitting, hard-hitting battle. Oregon State has 2 running backs, both averaging over 5.5 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns each in the first 2 weeks of playing. I say that because this is going to be the defensive line adding those pressures. This is going to be someone like Basa making sure he's closing in on the gaps. Gabriel is not the answer at QB. Man, can't feed both alphas at wide receiver. Man, D now. Like, my man Dino's on the back. Can you put that back up? That Gabriel's not the answer at QB. Can we see that one more time? Gabriel experience. So a few, earlier episodes of the O talked about the spring game where we went to, right? Where CFBNation was at there. Dante Moore looked better. The offense looked better. Not Dante Moore. The offense looked better with Dante Moore under center. And to be honest, can't feed 2 alpha wide receivers. I don't necessarily need that. Like, it's a gift to do that, right? To feed both alpha wide receivers. You don't have a CJ Stroud here. Maybe Dante Moore, to be honest. But it doesn't need to be feed both alpha wide receivers. But you can't have Tez Johnson have 12 receptions in week 1 and then 2 in week 2. That doesn't make sense to me. You can't have Evan Stewart go off in the first half, have 103 yards in the first half, and then end of the game has 112 yards. Like, where's this construction in the system? It seems like we're just throwing darts out. Like, we're just like, all right, we just hope this hits. And guess what? That's Dylan Gabriel's not that kind of guy to throw the darts. Like, his accuracy isn't there. Like, if he's throwing it, I don't care if it's football right at the target. Like, I'm betting against it. I just am. Like, he's just not doing that. Trayshawn Holden looks great, and Trayshawn Holden didn't talk much about him, but he looks solid as a wide receiver. Again, but it comes to the quarterback. I feel like they're 7 sacks in 2 games for 55 yards. Like, That's as much as it's on the offensive line. Like, don't get me wrong, they can't have that pressure. That's also on Gabriel. We've talked about other quarterbacks and Stuart Sanders holding the ball too long. That's also on Gabriel knowing when to evade the pocket. Like his pocket awareness, the guy's coming from behind him. He doesn't have that sixth sense to go out and escape to extend the play all the time. I don't need him to rush, but I need you to be aware, bro. Like, throw it out, do something. Don't get these sacks that cost you. McCoy and Gabriel in week 3 matchup. Who plays better? Man, you really will put us on the spot here to talk about the Ducks like that, man. McCoy's been playing nice too. Like, who plays better? It's gotta be Gabriel, right? And this is we're doing the Oregon stuff. This has to be Gabriel, though. Like, this is the in-state. Like, this is outside of your Ohio State, outside of your Michigan, outside of even Washington, Tennessee. This is the biggest game in the first quarter of the season. I know Boise State was huge, but the in-state battle. Why? Because not only you have Duck fans here, you have Oregon fans. Just Oregon fans that are between Oregon and Oregon State. Like, you're trying to push the needle for them to go to Oregon. If Oregon State comes out here and shows up, you're in trouble. Now you lost some fan base because you're like, wait, Oregon State's the better team in Oregon this year? We can't have that. Gabriel needs to go out there and show out. And the thing is, he's been efficient, right? 18-21 this past week. And it needs to be Gabriel, but it's McCoy. Exactly. He's making the plays, but here's the thing. Dylan Gabriel, and I say this all the time. You listen to any of my shows, you read any of my articles, I say this all the time. You have two sets of quarterback. You have a quarterback that makes his wide receivers better, and you have a quarterback that is better because of his wide receivers. Dylan Gabriel is better because of his wide receivers. But on top of that, his wide receivers are bad because of him. Like, he's doing these quick dump outs, but it's not necessarily with these wide receivers getting separation, or he's throwing them too late, or he's overthrowing. He's making it look worse than what it is. And when these dump outs happen, again, it's like a screen pass where it's like, bro, they're already covering on you. Like, it doesn't matter if that's what you have to do. You don't throw it so you get a negative 2 yards on your wide receiver now. And that's what Gabriel was doing. It's completely ridiculous on what's happening here. It's set out the running backs, right? You have Jordan James Whittington, Griffin Hankerson. That's Griffin Hankerson. That's no question. What's the better duo? That's no question. Griffin Hankerson. That's Oregon State's running backs for the people that they don't know. In 2 games, it's definitely the Oregon State running back. And containing them is going to be key, just like we did with Austin Gentry. Containing them is going to be key too, because you can't, again, they're both averaging over 5.5 yards per carry. You can't let them get going and have a ground and pound, because the issue with that and what they did in Boise State is when you allow Gentry to just nip it, right, just to go inch after inch after inch after inch, when you allow that to happen, it just becomes something where it's like, okay, you're running out the clock. And again, time of possession, that's where it goes in. So they're not forcing them to pass. You're like, bro, I know I can get the first down in 3 plays. I'm not worried about it. So I'm going to run every single play, and then I'm going to get the first down because I know I can get it. And that's going to be something that Oregon State's going to probably do. They have their running backs to rotate out that they can have fresh legs. Jordan James, he does look explosive, don't get me wrong, but he's not getting anywhere. He's not busting out any kind of big plays. 12-yard run was his biggest play this past week. Excuse me. What? 12? Big? What? Come on, man. And this week they go against a linebacker, Nico Taylor, style out the defensive back for Oregon, Nico Reed. Man, that guy lights out, bro. He lights out quarterback right now. I love seeing him play. Him and Jabari Muhammad. It's looking great. But containing linebacker Nico Taylor right now has a sack in each game, leading the team with 2. He is someone that is going to, again, Oregon has 7 sacks in 2 weeks. Nico Taylor, he is about to get like 2 or 3 sacks. This kid he's aggressive at the line. He has speed. He is pushing over the blockers. He is making it known he is on the field and adding that pressure. And guess what? He's going to get to Gabriel at least once. Okay. And the Oregon State has a plethora of defensive backs. Now, I say this because I love the Oregon wide receivers, right? We talked about the wide receiver room, how deep it is. We've seen some guys that aren't even on the field quite yet, like Jerrion Dickey, Jeremiah McMillan, right? You see Gary Bryant Jr. hasn't touched, right? We see deep room. The defensive back in Oregon State is deep too. And these guys lock it down. 10 pass deflections through 10 games, through 2 games, 10 pass deflections through 2 games. They lock it down. I'm saying this because It's up to the Oregon wide receivers to gain separation. Because Gabriel's, guess what? Gabriel's gonna try to pass it to you. It doesn't matter if it is the white on right so, and he is just right there on top of you, and he's covering over. Dylan Gabriel's gonna try to sneak it in there for whatever reason, if that's the play call he has to do. It seems like he's not even going through the motions, honestly. Like it doesn't even look like he's scanning the field. It looks like he's just hitting his first guy there, and then boom, it doesn't matter who three-man coverage. He's gonna throw it to the guy because that's what the play is designed for. Bro, go through your reads. Like understand the game is going. Understand you have playmakers that you can score. If Oregon wins by less than 10 again, do we fall out of top 10? 100%, 100% against Oregon State. 100%. I'm surprised they're not this week. You know, a 3-point victory over a non-ranked team. I'm surprised they're not out this week. To be honest. I looked at it, I was like 7, and I saw the AP poll. I was like, "Ooh, man, I want Oregon to be at 7, right?" But I knew they were gonna drop. I'm surprised they're 9, so they're in the top 10, right? I thought they were gonna be 10 at least. Like, so that's surprising to me. If they don't win by, bro, honestly, man, if Oregon State puts up like 21, like in just a tough matchup, and Oregon puts up like 40 even or something, I would still say they go out the top 10. Like they need to go out there and dominate. Like it's not even, you can't allow a team in Oregon State, and no disrespect to Oregon State, they're 2-0, but you can't allow after these 2 horrible weeks. You know, last week against Idaho, you know, Dan Lanning was said, "I'm not disappointed in the result. I'm disappointed in the process." Process didn't look like it changed much, to be honest. You know, against Boise, and with this week, you can't go in there and just, you know, look at the butterflies and be like, "Oh, we're winning." La la la. Nah, man, this process needs to change. And Lanny, like, I'm not the coach, man. You are. But if there is something, the offense starts with the quarterback. If Dylan Gabriel can't get this together, man, I don't see why you don't give Dante Moore a shot. You might, you know, so after this week, as I mentioned, first 3 weeks matter. You played Idaho, rough. Boise State, you knew it was gonna be a battle, but damn, it was almost war. Like, I don't even know if this was called a battle. This is like almost the series finale of like Game of Thrones. Like, you're like, oh, this is the big battle here. That's what this past week felt like. And now you go against, all right, this is a refresh, right? This is Oregon State. This is in state, right? You're going against them. And then you have a bye week. If this is a close matchup against Oregon State and Oregon wins 3-0, I don't see why you don't question on the bye week looking at Dante Moore getting first team reps. If Oregon State comes out and beats Oregon, then I think you go Dante Moore regardless. I don't think that's a question. If Oregon State beats Oregon this week and it's Gabriel, like you can look at the box numbers and you could say, "Oh man, he's passing efficiently." Like let me pull up the real quick here, full stats here. Right now, he has 84% completion. Phenomenal. It looks great. You don't have nothing to make up for that though. Like 4 passing touchdowns. You don't have anything to do 84% completion. Like that tells me you're throwing not even the yard out. You're throwing to these guys at the line. They're catching and they're doing something. You know, you're not doing much out of that. So I need to see more. And if you're not there, gets done like Rattler did for Caleb. Yeah, for sure. That's a good comparison right there. And it's just Dante Moore. It could be maybe the height, you know. Maybe he's smaller, so he's not ever see it with this line, you know. But Gabriel, bro, you've been in the league. Like difference between him and Bo Nix, right? Bo Nix have been in the league 10 years, not exactly. It was like 5 seasons, but you know he was in the league for a while. So you're like, all right, he's a veteran quarterback. He knows what he needs to do. That's why it was exciting to see Dylan Gabriel come. Right? You're like, he's a veteran. He knows what he needs to do. He's gonna go out here and just lead the team. Nah, we're not seeing that. It doesn't look like he knows what he needs to do. You know, it doesn't look like he understands what needs to happen to make these plays more effectively. And he can pressures against him. Okay. So be quicker in your release, right? Wide receivers aren't getting open. Okay. Do something in the pre-hold. Call some snaps. Call some audibles pre-snap, pre-go, right? Before you say it, make some audibles to adjust your wide receivers so they get there and make the plays that happen too. A lot of things rely on you, Gabriel. And if you're not doing it, it's on you not being able to read the defense. And it's on you making sure your wide receivers aren't getting open to make the plays they need to make. The play by Trayshawn Holden, the house call, I think that was more on Boise State messing up in their secondary than it was on actual Oregon having an explosive play. Like Trayshawn Holden, don't get me wrong, he got there. Hopefully he could tackle well. Yeah, yeah, I do agree with that. But I will say, like I said, this second game I enjoyed seeing it, and you can't. It's hard when you say like against like a team like Boise State when you have a guy in Austin Gentry who like just thrives after contact, like the yards after contact. I think he said he had 161 yards after contact in week 1, right? Don't have the exact numbers for week 2, but still, a guy like him, bro, like he's a soul you just can't take down. Like that's just like, yeah, don't get me wrong, like there's no excuse, but that's what I'm saying. Like he's just someone that it's like almost like he goes and rubs some like Vaseline, like oil on him. It's like guys just slip off of him because he just doesn't go down on first contact. You can tackle him, but not on first contact there, right? And it just becomes ridiculous because it's this isn't the Oregon team we're used to. And we went through the camps, right? We saw the preparation, we saw the physicality, we saw the concentration, we saw coming back from the rehab, we saw all these things locked in, being ready there. A lot of exciting things were to come, and it's not there. It's simply not there. Like it questions on was this really camp or was this all talk? Because there's a difference. Because you can talk about it, but are you actually going out there and putting that work in? And I don't know who necessarily is. We have playmakers. I'm not doubting that, but we're not allowing them to make their plays. You know, the plays we're calling on offense, it shouldn't be the one really like, okay, this is a play designed for Evan Stewart. This is a play for Evan Stewart. If it's locked down, you have Tez Johnson out here. If that's going down, you have Kenyon Sadiq underneath. If that doesn't happen, guess what? You have Jordan James going out on the flat, so you got to pass it to him. It doesn't look like we have those different options. It looks like Gabriel saying, all right, the goal is Evan Stewart. All right, I'm going him. It's Trayshawn Holden. All right, I'm going him. You're locked into one guy. And it doesn't matter what the coverage is. That's your guy you're locked into. And that's not how you play football. That's not how you get it down. That's not how you get the explosive plays. That's not how you exploit a defense like Ohio State. That granted, they're a great defense. Every team, doesn't matter who you are. You could be undefeated. Undefeated teams make mistakes. You have to be, as in the team, the Oregon team has to be the one to exploit those mistakes. And guess what? When those mistakes come against Ohio State in their secondary and their defense, if they don't take advantage of them, it's going to be a long game. Because guess what? When they're going to the Big Ten and going to the Big House, I know Texas just blew out the Big House in the Big House, but when you're going to the Big House, there's still no excuse. Like you have to exploit every single situation. Oregon has not done that yet. They have allowed these teams to stay in contention with them. Idaho should have, man, the reason why we don't call out the blowouts is because you never know in college football, but that should have been as damn close. Excuse my language there. That should have been as damn close for a blowout as anything. And it was a 10-point game. This one, 3 points, it's a little too close, right? I don't like that. But it's also something where it's like I didn't necessarily expect a blowout from Oregon here. Why? Because I knew Hoshain, defensive line in Boise State. I knew he was going to get after him. Guess what he did? He got to Dylan Gabriel. I knew Austin Gentry was a trouble. And guess what? He was. He showed out. But it's still, they still fixed it. The defense, again, when plays matter, the defense came through. The offense did not. The special teams came through. The offense did not. And you can only look at the numbers so much. And for it to be this close, this is an Oregon team that's going to get slaughtered in the Big Ten. This isn't the Oregon team that's mixing their speed with the physicality. This is an Oregon team that slowed down and brought in some physical aspects, and it's not working. It's not working. Slowing it down, bringing in physical, being physical at the line, it's not working. We need to fix this O-line. We have 2 weeks to do it. Oregon State's going to be a huge test. We need to fix this offensive line, and none of this what we believe is the best out there to play winning football. Next question, we're at the press conference. These two asked Dan Lanning, what is winning football to you? Serious question. What is winning football? Because is it winning by 3? Is it just getting the dub? If that's cool, that's what it is, man. I know people are happy with the dub. That's great. Like you said, Idaho, you were excited. You weren't upset at the result. Good, but you should have been, because the result on paper looked horrible. When you look at the numbers, it was bad. Like, yeah, y'all won, but won what? You lost in a lot of things. Third down efficiency. Like I said, you need to win those before getting these major victories, before winning the national championship. Preseason, Dylan Gabriel was in talks for Heisman. There's no way. You know who is in talks for Heisman now? Austin Gentry. There's no way you're going to say, oh, he's in talks for Heisman. Is just because what? He has 84% completion percentage? For what, though? What's he doing with that? because you're still getting third, 3 and outs. He's making completions, but what? It's 2 yards. That doesn't do anything. That needs to change. The defense, I enjoy what I'm seeing on the defense. I think the defense is they realize like, all right, guys, we gotta play stronger, faster, harder. I saw that in this game. It was a tough game, but I saw them make the plays they needed to. The defense set up the offense for success, and the offense could have capitalized on it, and that's an issue. These first 3 weeks are telling for the Oregon Ducks. We have one more week before we head into the bye week. So next week when we talk about the game recap of the Oregon State game, it's either gonna be ecstatic. I like what I see, or we're going into this bye week with some hard questions. And that hardest question is gonna be: is Gabriel the guy in week 5? And right now, I'll tell you, right now, I don't think he is. I don't understand that. Stat performer for sure. Yeah, 100%. And I don't think Gabriel will not win us national championship. Can he get us there? I mean, if we're winning by 3, why not, right? I mean, if you go undefeated, you win by 3, sure. But he's not going to win it. There's no way. There's no way he can go out there and win it. You look at Penix. What Penix did last year. To Washington national champ, they didn't win it, though. And Penix was a better quarterback than what Gabriel was. There is no way. The best quarterback under center for me in 2 weeks, and he hasn't even seen the field. I haven't seen him on the field, but from what I saw in spring, the best quarterback is Dante Moore. The offense looked smoother. The offense looked more efficient. The offense looked like it was ready. It looked like he was passing dimes. His throws were good. His deep balls were accurate. He was making the plays. He was extending the plays. The wide receivers huddled around him. I'm not seeing that in Gabriel. I don't care if you had this mini round picking up everybody, man. It's not working. It's not. And maybe you know one big thing from management experience. One of the hardest things to do with your management and working up your ranks. You start off in Leicester, then you go to manager. One of the hardest things to do is becoming the manager and the friend. Gabriel's a friend right now. He's not the leader. Sorry. Gabriel's the friend right now. He is not the leader. And guess what? For him to lead Oregon to victories, he needs to become the leader. There is no more, oh, friend, like, call you up, bro. What are you doing this weekend? Nah, bro. Hey, I'm calling you up this weekend because we got to get to work. If you're going to work because Dan Landy's saying, hey, practice is today, you're already behind. Because guess what? These past 2 weeks are horrible. This is not what Oregon's about. The wins are great. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. 2-0 is awesome. We should be 0-2. 100%. And this is – it's in a sense being the number 3 team before the season start to go into number 9. I beg Oregon to start Dante Moore. I think it's bad now. Bro, hey, you're preaching to a choir, man. I wish I had the choir back here that's seen the you're preaching to a choir because I 100% agree. Dante Moore is ready. Guess what? And if it's not, all right, we got Achilles Smith Jr., but it's the Gabriel, bro. Like you're not there to win. I really feel it's your final year of eligibility. You are coasting. You're in a great program. It's with Nike. You got these beats. You got this beautiful Eugene weather, Oregon weather. It looks great. Autzen Stadium is amazing. You love it. You're just coasting, bro. And no offense, bro. You can coast all you want, but guess what? We're right by the West Coast. Go to the water and coast out there. I know Oregon took a trip out to the coast. Go out there. Stay in the cabin because that's what you need to do if you're just coasting. You don't need to be on the field. Dante Moore went to UCLA, took his shot. It didn't work out. He came back to Oregon. He was originally committed to Oregon. Now he's like, all right, bro, I tried it. It doesn't work. Guess what? Put him in there, man. Put him in there. Here's the thing. If it's a 10-point game at the half against Oregon State and Dale Gabriel's on the center, put in Dante Moore. If it's a 10-point game at the half against Oregon State, put in Dante Moore. And even for a drive, even if you just want to do it for a drive, fake the injury, do whatever you want. Let Dylan Gabriel go into a blue tent, put him in for a drive, and look how more efficient it is. And that could be at any time during the game. Put Dante Moore in for a drive, and look how more efficient the offense is. Look how it's rolling. Look how he elevates his wide receivers. How he doesn't let his wide receivers elevate him. Look how he stays poised in the confident. Look how he extends the plays with his mobility. Look how he does all these little things to make the Oregon offense become explosive again. Because these little knick-knack, paddywhack type of stuff, these little dime pieces outside, these screen routes, all this stuff, that's cute and dandy, but that's last year's Oregon team that had the explosive weapons, that had Troy Franklin, that had Bucky Irvin that could make those plays. That's not it this year. We need to go deep. We have playmakers that can stretch the field. We need accuracy deep. We need to start doing that. The offense needs to help a lot. And the defense, in practice, y'all need to be coming with it. And y'all need to be slapping these guys. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, you see them in the air, slap that ball from them. And make them earn every single. If there's no tackle, you're going out there and tackle. Like, you got to come with the force, because right now this offense isn't gated, and that starts with Dylan Gabriel, and he needs to come out and do it. And it has to be this line understanding, like, look, who is the leader? Maybe it's AJ Cornelius. Maybe it's Matthew Bedford. Maybe it's Big Oos as the center. It's this line. It's so frustrating to see these line just giving up these easy sacks, and more frustrating to see Dylan Gabriel just hold it and not make the play, man. These first 2 weeks have been rough. It's a long season. I hope y'all have y'all's brown paper bags, because we'll be, you know what I mean? Like, the anxiety's kicking in. It really is. It really is. Watching the game, you're like, man, it's great seeing Ashton Jesse. I loved it. It was a great game for him. Anxiety's kicking in for this offense. This is not the same Oregon team we had last year. This is an Oregon team that is afraid to take the shots. It's an Oregon team that doesn't want to take the shots downfield. And I'd rather see more shots downfield and Dylan Gabriel just be inaccurate and not make it than see none at all. Because what happens when you practice? With practice, it makes perfect. This is Albert Iverson. We'll talk about practice. What happens when you do it? You see that progression, because he's going to understand, all right, I got to get better at ball placement. When you're not taking the shots downfield, that repetition is not coming. And Dylan Gabriel's not learning anything. He's going to just play to his game and play short intermediate passes. And that's not going to win them games in the Big Ten. It's not. You can't. At times, you're not doing anything with the time possession when you can't even get the first down. Like, third down efficiency, less than 40%. In 2 games, 11 of 28 third downs have been converted. You need more than that. You need to take these shots. You need to trust in Gabriel. If he's your guy, trust in him and say, look, man, we have Tez Johnson going on the go route. He's going straight down. Take that shot. This incomplete, it's incomplete. This interception, it's interception. This a catch, it's a catch. But take that shot. Don't don't beat around the bush and not do this. Take the shots downfield, man. This has been a balling show for me. This is a lot off my chest. I actually feel better talking about this. This is a lot off my chest. First 2 weeks have been rough. Next week, it's not gonna be an easy watch. Oregon State's gonna bring their A game. I guarantee you, Oregon State's gonna bring their A game. This is the battle of I-5. Oregon, you gotta get it together. Dylan Gabriel, you gotta get it together. Coach Lanning, if it's not Gabriel, man, I'm already asking for all of us. Like, I don't care if he's a senior, bro. If you can't cut it, you can't cut it. Get Dante Moore in there. We'll talk about Oregon State next week. We'll recap that, and then we're going to recap what we need to do in the bye week to prepare for the bulk of the schedule. Until next time, TheCFB Nation, I am SC Romero. This is the O. Peace.
All right, everybody got goals and aspirations. You know how you get those? You be the best where you're at.
What does Evan Stewart bring to the table here? In short, you get a baller.
The grass is not always green. In fact, the grass is